Okay, so first of all, I'll give you your task 2 description and the responsibility. Okay, which is, so your task 2 description is you have to learn about the SQL aggregate functions which are SQL aggregate function is used to perform a calculation on a set of values and return a single value. Okay, they are often used with a group by clause to group rows that share a property, but you can use without using a group by clause too. Okay, this is allowing for more complex data analysis. So we'll learn about some of the common SQL aggregate function, which is sum, average, count, max, min. And your responsibility is to creating a table. You have to define the structure of the table where data will be stored. This includes specifying the columns and their data types. Then you have to insert the values. You have to add data to the table. This involves inserting rows with specific values for each column. Then third is going to be using aggregate function. Okay. Then you have to perform calculations on the data using aggregate function. So by following these steps, you can by following these steps, you can effectively use SQL aggregate functions to analyze and summarize your data. Okay, so this is the basic description and responsibility. Now, everyone, please confirm that the screen is clear or not. My screen is visible or not. Everyone, please confirm me right now. My screen is visible. Visible. Okay. Okay, Vijula, you can check your connection. Okay. Okay. So here I'm using the online compiler for the SQL. Okay. So your first task is to create a table. Okay. So for creating your table, you have to use create table command. Okay. Then here I'm creating table of sales. Okay. So you have to mention table name here, then you have to use parenthesis. Okay, so first column I'm going to take, which is sale id. Okay, this is my first column, and I'm setting the data type. It should be of int. Okay, it should be of int. Then the sec and also the constraint I'm using here, which is the primary key. Okay, it should be a primary key. Then comma, then this will going to be my second column name, which is product name, and it should be of varchar data type. Okay, and its length should be between 50. So you know the data types we have already learned what are the data types. Okay, and this primary key and all constraint will learn in the next task. Okay, and this is the this is your third column, which is quantity, and its data type is also int. Then comes the fourth column, which is going to be price, and here I'm specifying the decimal, which is 10,2. Then this is my last column, which is sale date, and its data type should be of date. Okay, so this is how you can create your table. You have to use create table syntax, then you have to name your table. Okay, you have to name your table there. So here you have to mention your column names like this, sale ID, and this is your data type. And you have to mention the constraints that you want to add. Okay, so these are constraints we'll learn in next task. So basically just learn there how to create the table, how to name the data types of your particular column. Okay, so this is how you can create a table. Now we'll insert the null values. So now we'll insert the values into your table. So for inserting, you have to use the insert into function. This function you have to use. Then you have to mention that your table name, which is sales here, and here I'm going to mention all the columns. Okay, here I'll mention all the columns. This is your product name column, then comes the quantity column, then comes the price column, then will be your sale date column. Okay, so this is how you have to mention your all column names first. Okay, then after this you have to mention the values respect to your columns. Okay, so here I'm writing the values, which is first is 1 comma, the product will be a here, this is your product name, then comma, this will going to be your quantity, and this will be your price, then comma, this will be your date, which is 2024-01-15. Okay, this is your first value. Okay, and similarly you can write more values, okay, by using the comma statement. Okay, so here I am going to write another value, which is true, and product name here will be product B, and its product name its quantity is going to be 5, then price is going to be 8.99, and date will remain same. No, I'll change the date I'll do. Okay, so this is how you can create another table, another values for your table. Okay, and I'm going to write another, which is, and its product name is going to be product C, then quantity will be 3, then price should be 5.7, then your date will be 2024-01 and 70. Okay, and now the last value which I'm going to put, which is 4, and its product name will going to be product D. And here quantity will be 4, price will be 7.99, and your date is going to be 2024-01-18. Okay, so this is how you can, yes, so this is how you can insert the values in your respective table. Okay, so you have to use the insert into function, then you have to name the column names, then you have to name all your then you have to name your table name, which is sale here, then you have to name all the columns names, so that if you write value it will correspond to your particular columns. Like this one is will be fetch will be go in this sale id table, then product is, this is your product name, this is for your quantity, and this is for your price, and this is your sale date. Okay, so this is how you can insert value in your table by using the insert into, then you have to use the values function, and you have to specify your values in this. Okay, now your aggregation will start. First will be to calculate to calculate calculate the total quantity sold. Okay, so for this we are going to use the aggregate function, which is sum. Okay, sum aggregate function we're going to use, and in between the parenthesis I'm going to write the quantity, because total quantity we want to calculate. Okay, then here I'm going to write, which is as is for to specify the temporary name to your table. Okay, so this will specify a temporary name to your table. From which table you want to fetch? From sales table. Okay, so here the s should be kept. Okay, so this is how you can use. For basically, first I'll tell you basically what sum function will do. Sum function will calculate it sums it Sum function will plus the all the quantities, and it will give you the answer. Okay, so if you want the total of any column, or any particular column, or all column, then you can use the sum aggregate function. Okay, this is for adding your all column values. Okay, so if we'll run this, here answer is 22, means total the sum of your quantity means 10, 5, 4, 10, 5, 4, 3. The total of this is 22. Okay, so this is how you can get the total of your total values of your particular column. Okay, this is your first aggregation. Now we'll calculate calculate the average price of all products sold. Okay, so now we'll calculate the average price of all the products of sold. Okay, so basically some function will add up all the values in a specified column. Okay, now the average function will calculate the average of the value in a specified column. Okay, the average value in a specified column. So here you have to use select average. This is your keyword for finding the average, and here I'm going to write the price, because I want to fetch for the price, average price I want to fetch as average price from the sales table. Okay, so here we want to fetch the average price of the from the sales table. Okay, so here is the answer, which is 8.1675. This is the average price of all products. So what average will do? Average will show the average of your particular column. Okay, now we'll calculate the number of sales. Okay, the number of sales transactions. The number of sales transactions. So for this, we're going to use our another aggregate function, which is count. Okay, so for finding the number of sales, you have to use that sale ID column. Okay, and from table sales I want to fetch. Okay, so basically what count function will do? Count function counts the number of rows that match a specified condition. Okay, so if we'll see the result, see the answer is 4. Okay, this is the number of sales transactions by according to the sale ID. Okay, it will count the number of rows. Okay, now our another aggregate function, which is now will find the maximum price of products. Okay, so for finding the maximum price, we'll use another aggregate function, which is your max. Okay, and then between parentheses I'm going to write the price column because we want the maximum price. And from which table we're going to fetch? We will fetch from the sales table. Okay, so basically what maximum aggregate function will do, it will find the maximum value in a specified column. Okay, so here after running this, the answer is 9.99. This is the maximum price. Okay, the maximum price of the product sold. Okay, this is the maximum price of the product sold. Now we'll move towards our last aggregate function, which is your find the minimum quantity sold. Okay, minimum quantity sold. So for this, we're going to use our another aggregate function, which is min. Okay, and here in between the parentheses, we're going to call the quantity column because we want the minimum quantity sold from the sales table. Okay, so basically min aggregate function find the minimum value in a specified column. Okay, so after running this, here is your answer, which is 3. 3 is the minimum quantity sold. Okay, so this is how you can use the aggregate function. Basically we use the aggregate function to perform a calculation on a set of values and to return a single value. Okay, so they are often used with a group by clause, but you can use without the group by clause like this. Okay, so it basically allows you to solve the more complex data analysis. Okay, so this is for this, and so there are these different kinds of common aggregate function where sum add up all the values in a specified column, average calculate the average of values in a specified column, count will count the number of rows that match a specified condition, max it will find the maximum value in a specified column, and minimum it will find the minimum value in a specified column. Okay, so this is how you can create your table by using the create table function. Then you have to mention your table name, and inside it this is how you can mention your column names and data types you can specify. Then this is how you can insert the values into your existing table. Okay, so this is how you can insert the values by using insert into and values function. And this is how you can use the aggregate functions in your table. Okay, for finding, for receiving the single value. Okay, this is for handling more complex queries. Okay, this will aggregate function will simple the process of finding, more simple the process of complex query. Okay, so yes, this was all your task 2 about the aggregate functions.